Well, anyway, you should come. And then
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the City of Glens Zoning Board of Appeals. We have quorum established, and would somebody else like to introduce a motion to approve the minutes of the October 21st, 2024 meeting?
I can make the motion that we accept the minutes from last month's meeting.
Okay, and seconded by Anton?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain because I was not present.
Oh.
And we
I'll
can't-
approve.
Then we can't approve.
I'll approve.
You approve it? Okay. Yep.
I read it.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. And seeing that there's no old business, we can move on to new business. First on the agenda is Area Variance 240015, Elizabeth Krebs and Craig Leggett, owner and representative, respectively, of tax map number 302.19-15-10, commonly known as 28 Garfield Street. They're seeking a variance for a side yard setback of 6 feet 6 inches and 11 feet 8 inches from the required 15 feet on both sides of the side yard setback. Applicants are also seeking a variance for a maximum lot coverage relief above the 35% threshold to construct a 234 square feet addition to the existing structure and construct a 184 square feet deck in the rear yard. Pursuant to City of Glens Zoning Code Chapter 220, the applicant will require zoning. I see the applicants are in the audience today. Would you like to come up and introduce your project, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair, zoning board.
You just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yep. Craig Leggett, Chestertown, New York.
Elizabeth Krebs, Betsy, Chestertown, New York.
And you are the owner of the property,
Yes,
correct?
I am the owner.
You both are the owner.
No.
Okay.
It's me.
All right. And what are you proposing this evening?
Shall I continue?
Yeah.
Yeah. An addition onto a house, an addition plus a deck. And as you'll see, there were plans within the packets of what that all entails. As we all know, this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot. The existing house, circa 1940s, is also already out of compliance for the maximum lot coverage. And all together with this, and it's a very narrow lot, so the side yard setbacks are as they are. We are not extending a greater width to the house, and the addition off the back comes even with the house to its south, so it's all in line there. That even though there is an increase in lot coverage, it turns out to be about a net of 176 square feet, which is smaller than the proposed addition.
And the driveway and everything, that's existing, right?
The driveway exists. It's a macadam top driveway. It goes to a small, very small one-car garage in the back corner. And according to survey, you'll see how tight it is onto neighbor's property and such.
Mm-hmm. And is this a two-family residence or one, just in an R2?
It's one singular.
It is a single
Yeah.
family, okay.
Yeah.
Do the commissioners have any questions?
What's the deck made of?
Pardon me?
What's the deck made of? How is it going to be made?
It'll be a wood deck,
Open
perhaps.
wood deck, no roof?
Correct. It'll be an open deck, no roof.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
There is, similar to the one that's there now, but the one that's there now is being replaced by the proposed addition.
And what will be the ground underneath the deck?
And it will be natural grade.
Okay. And the roof line of your addition, where is that pitching the water to?
As proposed, it's a shed roof, so it's pitching it towards the west, towards the back of the lot.
So that's a shed roof gonna be dumping water onto your deck?
Correct.
Okay. My only personal concern is, it's not the lot, the proposed, which you're basically mimicking by extending, side yard, and it's pretty close to what you have today. My concern is the lot coverage, because it's like, I think it's more than 56%. You include the garage, the asphalt, the house, the addition, the deck, the front concrete. It's a lot of coverage. That's my only concern. And how the water will be absorbed on the site. That's really my only concern with the proposition. I understand it's a bit of a limited lot size, and you have a pre-existing condition which you're kind of extending. It would be great if I got a little, there's no note here about your neighbor. It would be preferred if I had that, but, meaning if they had no objection. So really, as you're maintaining the same condition and you're maintaining that pass-through little open area between their addition, their adjoining garage and their home, I don't personally have any issue with it. But like I said, it's the lot coverage that causes me concern.
The footprint of the addition and the deck is not going to be a whole lot different than what's down here now, right? The concrete and the deck.
That's basically the addition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like their addition's gonna be another.
Concrete.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
deck is
agree
gonna
with
be
that. Well, right, which is why I was
Yeah.
concerned about the deck.
Yeah.
What can go below it, so I think it's a huge difference. Because if it's grade below there, I feel like that could absorb some of the water below the deck. I don't always consider the deck. That's why I wanted to know if it was gonna be covered or not.
Okay.
Because if it's not, now, even more. That's just my own personal view of it.
According to the key, the back deck and the concrete pad currently are 242 square feet, and the new back deck and the addition are 448
Yes.
square feet. And that's how the lot coverage went up.
It's a little over 4%, yep.
Right, so if you compare the addition to the back deck and concrete pad, they're almost the exact same number, maybe a skosh under, right?
Yes.
And it's the new, really, if you're looking at like what the differential is on the lot coverage, I feel like it's the back deck.
The back deck.
Which is not necessarily
I don't
impervious
consider,
surface.
I don't consider a deck, when it's an open deck, to be impervious, like to be truly impervious. Like,
So-
yes, it'll hold snow and it won't blow right away, but when the snow melts, it's gonna drip down
It
between.
drains into the ground beneath.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
I almost wanna have a revision of how we analyze
Wow.
impervious.
We can
No. I know,
bookmark that for a definition.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah, so that new deck is incorporated into the totals
Yep,
on this, so if we think about that,
I
it
agree.
may not be as
Right.
significant.
And practically speaking,
I got S cable for one. No, yeah, that's later for, that's for another. This one. Take a look. It's just a proposal, architectural, the proposed addition, elevation, that's one. It's a shed, he said the shed roof was gonna be over the addition.
Commissioner McDonald,
Which
do you
is
have any
interesting,
questions?
we water that.
No questions. I think this will be a wonderful enhancement to the property.
thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
No, I don't really. I think it's pretty straight. What are you, guess I'll just ask, although it's not really, no, I'm not gonna ask.
You can ask.
Nope.
Go ahead, be human. Be a human being.
So do seeker.
Yes. Be secret
With
with this.
respect to seeker, I would classify it as a type 2 action pursuant to section 617.5 C17, the granting of an area variance for a single, two-family, or three-family residence. Therefore, no further action is required.
Okay, thank you. So based upon the factors presented in this application, it appears that the ZBA has found that the benefit to the applicant does not outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood of the community. So I would like, what's that? Yeah. I would like to make a motion that the Glens Zoning Board of Appeal hereby grant area variance 24-0015 for the project identified as Elizabeth Krebs and Craig Leggett, owner and representative respectively, located at 28 Garfield Street, as presented at the meeting of December 16, 2024, pursuant to the criteria laid forth in the area variance application tonight.
Thank you.
May I get a
A
second?
second.
Second by Anton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any in favor? Or any opposed? All right,
There you go.
motion carries. Thank you. So you'll follow up at the Building and Codes Department, and they will bring all your required documentation. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
All right. Next on the agenda is area variance 24-0016. Maureen and John Matson, representing Constance and William J. Nealon, owners of tax map number 302.11-6-20, commonly known as 7 Webster Avenue. They are seeking a variance for a front yard setback of 20 feet from the required 25 feet. And they're also seeking a side yard setback of 8 feet from the required 15 side yard setback to construct a 1,664 square foot one-story single home and a 252 square foot detached garage on the vacant lot.
They have decided to table the matter until January. They're going to come back with revised plans.
Okay, great.
I didn't hear what you said.
They've decided to table the matter and come back with the revised plan.
For next month, we're gonna come in?
January, yep.
Okay.
Okay. Unless this changes dramatically, I'd like to just also note that in the applicant, there's, it looks like they're also seeking a variance for the minimum lot size requirement and the lot width, but,
Yeah, it wasn't clear how they
Yeah.
did that, but I think I agree.
Yeah.
Like, they're just throwing weird numbers all over the place, and it's like, well, we're not asking you to change a lot of it.
right, I mean, it's a funny lot, but they might also need a variance for that,
They
to
will.
build on it, yeah, okay.
We've discussed multiple aspects of
So,
their application.
I guess I have a question with that. If you buy a lot that's essentially non-conforming,
Mhm.
do you have to get a variance for that aspect of it? So basically to allow you to build on it?
Yeah, well, unless they got it when they subdivided.
Right, I don't know when they got it. It was the same owner owned multiple properties, same
That's
lots,
correct.
and then subdivisions were done.
Okay.
So they could have subdivided and created an undersized lot, right? We probably need to look into that.
I guess my question would be who then, in relation to that, who approves subdivision?
Planning board,
And depending on when it was subdivided.
Yeah.
we're gonna have a two vote.
Well, it's just the planning board should be really, like, they should almost like preemptively grant something. Like if you're gonna say like, we'll cut it into X, but it's zoned for that, well, we have to allow it to be built, you know what I mean? If it's like prohibitive,
Right.
there should be like an asterisk, like,
I can tell you that the planning board today
I
will
don't know.
not approve a lot line adjustment creating an undersized lot without them coming to the ZBA first.
okay. Okay.
So you need a motion to take.
Can I make do you represent, sorry.
I'm the new planning and zoning coordinator. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Oh, yeah, I got your, yeah.
Yes.
How you doing?
Responding this afternoon.
Cool beans, yeah.
Good to meet you. You Patrick?
No, I didn't.
Devin.
You Devin?
Patrick Dowd.
Did you say that?
I guess.
So I'd like to make a motion to table this matter
Yes.
until January.
Agreed.
Second.
Second by Stephen, thank you. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? No? All right, motion carries. All right, last on the agenda tonight.
Can I say one,
Yeah,
ask one
please.
thing about that one? Is there a way to convey anything to them so that they're more ready?
Devin will handle that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I
spoken
would,
at depth with them. This was a very unique circumstance
Yeah.
where PJ was handling zoning and planning, which is not in his job description, but he was doing it for the city. Currently, he started that. They presented one set of plans. They took his feedback, came to me with another set of plans,
yep,
and then there was a small miscommunication between PJ and myself about discussions going on because we were unaware that we were both looking at two different sets of plans. So,
I mean, for me, I would just convey that I would like to see the appeal request form
fully filled out.
completely, like meeting with all the required and existing and proposed, including lot coverage, rear yard, etc. So it's like really complete, you know?
I encouraged that with them, and I will encourage that again.
No assumptions, like, oh, we know it's this, or anything like that, because I don't.
There was
I
a,
pass it all the time.
there was a large debate about their driveway, in which case they did not get numbers calculated by the
Yep.
surveyor. I called the surveyor, confirmed. It was a lot of back and forth, but I assure you that the next application will be
Yep.
more complete.
Awesome,
Great, thank you.
thank you.
No problem.
And if they can get a letter, so they got 3 people to sign, right? But only one of them is really their neighbor, the back neighbor. The other 2 people are like down the block on the corner, which is great, I'm glad that they approve it. But it would be nice if they had their actual neighbors. That would carry a lot more weight.
I can tell you that the majority of our audience that filtered out here was here to have some sort of feedback or comment.
Pro or con?
I did not.
All right, you don't have to speak for them, I was just curious, 'cause, okay, cool beans. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So our last item tonight is area variance 24-0017, Robert O'Rourke, owner of tax map number 309-16-17-6, commonly known as 23 East Tremont Street, seeking a variance for maximum lot coverage relief above the 35% threshold to construct a 12-foot by 24-foot oval above-ground swimming pool in the rear yard. Applicants here tonight.
Good evening, everybody.
Would you please state your name and address for the record?
Robert O'Rourke, 23 East Tremont Street.
Thank you. Explain your project to us a little.
Yes, trying to install an above-ground pool. Doing this will go over the 35% lot coverage. It will put me at 44%. The lot's currently at 38%, so this would be a 5% increase in lot coverage. It meets all setback requirements and pretty straightforward.
So, I know you did your math on this, and I know you're good with all your setbacks. I would personally view it as an 8% overage, not a 5%. If you're doing 5% over, you're already pre-existing,
Correct.
which is cool. I get it. You got it. Personally, I'm sure that this has gone out to your neighbors and nobody objects.
Yeah, they got it. They seem to
I
be
mean-
on board with it.
Personally, I think this is a small above-ground pool. It's a relatively small lot. You're not, the only variance you're looking for isn't a big one. You're still maintaining your side by side, so, I mean, I see this as pretty straightforward as far as I'm concerned. I would like to know, well, okay, never mind, it's fine, for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something maybe we need to look into as a board. Do we look at, when we're talking about additional overages, do we talk about existing versus
Yeah.
proposed, or we talk about allowed versus proposed when we look at the
Yeah.
difference? So, but it's good to make, I noted that
It's
as
an
well.
8%.
It is 8%.
It's an
Yeah,
8%.
that's what.
That's how I look at
Me
it,
too. That's
personally.
where I was going.
I think legally it's an 8%.
Mhm.
And like another issue with this, which is pro for yours, just so you know.
With that.
Well, kind of, sort of, is that there's hardscape and then there's coverage and there's not, right? So you're putting a pool down there, so it's not going into the aquifer, but it's also not spilling off either. Like, meaning when it rains in your pool, it stays in your pool. It's not exactly like we're spilling off, so even though it's covered, it's not being spread out on somebody else who may have to cover it. I think that's a little bit of a, now, I mean, maybe I guess in the winter, but then it's staying right there, it's not going anywhere. So I don't know, I kind of think there's gray areas depending on what you're doing with the coverage personally.
Yeah, and I thought the permanency of an above-ground pool is quite different than an
Exactly.
underground pool.
Yep,
So that's also
that
something to
also.
consider.
Yep.
Will there be a deck associated with this?
No, there is no
Okay.
deck.
Nice. Commissioners, any other questions?
No,
Okay.
With respect to seeker, I would also classify this as a type 2 action under section 617.5 C17, as it's the granting of an area variance for a single, 2-family, or 3-family residence. Therefore, no further action is required by the board.
Thank you.
So based on the factors presented in this application, I would like to bring forward the suggestion that we have found the benefit to the applicant does not outweigh the detriment to the community, and would like to make a motion that the Glens zoning appeal hereby grant this application for an area variance for the project identified as Robert O'Rourke at the location of 23 East Tremont Street at tonight's meeting, December 16, 2024, pursuant to the criteria displayed in the application this evening. Can I have a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye. All right. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. And you can visit the same office you got your application from, and they'll give you all your necessary permits.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other business tonight? All right. Great. We have
Motion to adjourn.
I'll bring
We
it.
have a